Don't be alarmed. It's 11 o'clock, not 12. I've tuned in just a little bit early just to check that we're okay for internet. So I'm just waiting patiently for the arrivals, and here they are, here they come. I'm a little bit crouched. I've had this phone in every nook and crevice and cranny in this house, trying to get right angles, right chairs to create the right images. So yeah, here I am, crouching. Oh, it's me again. Oh my goodness. Come on in, come on. I've had to kick Irma. I'm in the conservatory, and it's generally where she so the remnants of Irma are all over the place. Look, all kinds of things here. She's in the garden. So for those of you that have been in on our usual regular snacks, this is the preamble, the pre-broadcast broadcast to get everyone in the swing, as it were, and get ready and prepared. And on this one, I can say, are you sitting comfortably? And the reason I'm crouched here like this is because this is the chair of choice for this special edition seated movement snack. And this came about from a request, actually, on our social media Twitter feed for a lady who basically said her mum would benefit from a more focused seated option rather than deciding whether to go up and down and all those things. So we thought we'd give it a go and indeed focus on some seated options, or focus more on seated options without our aim of adding progressions and encouraging stands. So this is all about a movement snack in a seated position, what that may look like, what that could look like. This isn't the only way it could go. Here's just one example of a seated movement snack. Is everyone okay with the signal and the visuals? Visual check. You might hear the birds outside, some wood pigeons, closer to nature. So I think, I don't know, was it about a 2-minute warning, I think, maybe less. And have you got to hand a cushion, some kind of cushion? And have you got some kind of tea towel? Something like this. Could you have something like that to hand? Being very resourceful today. I'm looking at the clock. Got some new names as well. Show us your tea towel. I could show you the tea towel, but it's all back to front because the camera's in reverse, so I can show you the tea towel, but you won't know what it says. Look. Maybe I'll show you again after. It gives instructions, some clear, simple instructions of how to get up from the floor if you have a fall, how to get up. And that's probably something that I will cover later in the month as a visual, as a demo, to give you some thoughts and ideas about that. All right, I think this clock is slow. Should we say 30 seconds? 30 seconds and we'll do it. Keep changing legs, my feet are going to sleep. Okay, I think I'm going to start. And I'm just going to spend just a minute or so explaining a little bit more about this session. So, good morning. My name is Bex Townley, and I am here to do a special edition movement snack in the chair, in a seated position. So there'll be no standing options, alternatives during this movement snack. I think it's important to say that, or just to acknowledge, there may be a whole raft and range of reasons why you've decided that seated options are the best for you. And I can't tackle all of those. That's really the job of specific, tailored and targeted exercise programs. Of course, that's not what this is. This is a movement snack. So I want to give you some prompts and thoughts around how you could be more active in your chair, in sit positions, and the same themes apply. So these snacks are for you to take and crowbar into your hours. A little bit of circ boost each hour would be good. Being more active, albeit in a seated position, is really the start point to accumulate benefits. And we're in the business really of maintaining what we have, maintaining movement, but more passionately, I suppose, for us at LLT is to go further than that and optimize movement and optimize gain. So today there's 3 themes running through this movement snack, which are the same as in standing. Circulation boosting, mobility, and the strength stuff still applies. So we're going to have a go at that. But I'm going to just kind of work through it. So this is something that you could follow me with. I'm not going to fly off in all different directions and say, try this, try that, try this. This is one example of what a movement snack might look like. And in designing this, I think I've got a second example that I might do tomorrow. So, should we do it? Let's do it. Glasses off. And I'm going to sit here. And I've chosen this location here in the conservatory because I'm guessing that you may be sat in a comfortable chair, in an armchair style chair. If you are in a hard dining room chair without arms, that's great, that's even better. So just pick your chair, but I think it's also important that if you've chosen seated options, the likelihood is you're probably spending perhaps more time in your favourite preferred chair. So if we can get you moving more from a space that you're familiar with, then perhaps you're more likely to do these movements throughout the day. So this is my mum's chair actually. I've kicked her out, she's in the garden. This is my mum's favourite chair. And it's quite narrow, and so it does offer quite a lot of support through the arms of these chairs, and we can use those to our benefit. We can use those perhaps to crowbar into some of our strength activities. I have got behind me an extra cushion here. Now that may be significant for you because the first thing we're going to do, as always, is set up the posture ready to move. So in a sit position, this is coming away from the back of the chair and lifting taller. So I'm already supporting my own posture. In a movement snack in a seated position, that really is the first thing we're aiming to do. We're aiming for our trunk, our posture muscles to activate and switch on, and not for the chair to do the work. Now I can use the arms of the chair to take that hip walk and shift the weight forwards. And because I have the arms of the chair, I can actually bring in more lean and shift, and I'm progressing my buttocks forward in the chair and my feet are coming with me. Can you see that? So I can start to really use my arms and upper body to bring me forward in the chair. Having done that, and depending on the chair, that may be more or less effortful, depending on the type of material, depending on the chair. I'm going to invite you to go back into the chair on a backward hip walk. So again, using the arms of the chairs and then shifting your buttocks one from the other, and you can also push through the feet to do this. So take your time and you'll mobilise literally the hips, shifting from left to right, and now you're back in relaxed position. Now, as far as movement snacks go, even this movement, every now and then, every 30 minutes, at least once an hour, if this is your start point for movement, it's a great start. Let's do it again. Sit tall away, lift up, lift really high out of the hips. This, use if you want to. If you don't need to use those, you can try without. So there's still options even in a chair, but look, can you see I'm shifting my buttocks up and forward here. All right, so now I can lift taller, I can move more freely. If you want to at this point, you can put in some extra cushions behind. So now if you need a pit stop, by a pit stop I mean a posture release. It's really quite hard to maintain an unsupported sit position. Posture muscles are working, so if you need to take a pit stop, that's okay. We call this a pit stop, and we call this, all the way in, a full back rest. So pick which one is best for you. Coming away from the chair, hip walk forward. Got lots of hip mobility going on here as well. And can you see this hip walking action? Just a lot, it's the same movement we need to mobilise in and out of bed, to mobilise to the end of the bed to get up, or even just to mobilise back into the bed. Really critical movement, so beneficial. Here we are up and tall then. Let's start with our usual circulation boosting. And I'm going to suggest today, because of what's going to come in the rest of the snack, we're going to start with upper body start, okay? So again, be aware of your chair. Now that's kind of quite a nice reference point because we want the elbow to be tucked in close to the trunk whilst this posture is lifted. Take a pause, let's do the other side. Be fairly free on this, so feel that you can actually move the trunk as well, because when we bring both in, can you see I've got a little bit of movement through my upper body. You may want to do our guided one, so you may want to take some time, you may want to have a look, and here we can actually get a little bit more backward press. So I'm staying lifted, but I'm bringing in a little bit more turn, and I can guide that elbow back and down. Take your time on this, stay lifted, see how it feels, find a rhythm and pace comfortable for you. Take a pause. Pit stop if you need, pause out. Even with this movement in the upper body, you're going to get this injection, this increase in circulation because we're moving. So you might want to go at the end of that. And that's okay, that's good. Okay, can we go down to feet? If possible, if achievable, down to feet. And for this one, to begin with, I'm going to ask you to just kind of wiggle your feet forwards. So they're slightly forward of the knees. You can glance down and see, keep this tall, and then just start to pick up the toes. And here we're after a rhythmical toe tap. Serves to boost circulation, but as you can see and feel, this is ankle mobility. Picking toes up as we walk is critical. Don't worry if this movement is quite small. Don't worry about that. The main thing is we've started. Take a pause. Now bring the feet back so we can step them back. I've left shoes off specifically for this so that we can actually start to explore toes also. So bring the feet back a little bit. Keep this lifted and now pick up the heels. So you're pushing through the feet, So now you'll feel that you're leaving your toes and the ball of the feet behind. Depending on the height of your chair, the length of your legs, and that ratio combined together, you may want to put your hands on the arms of the chair or your elbows and start to take that into our seated march. Now, because we're sat and we are now picking 1 foot off the floor, that is going to ask more work of your posture muscle. So that's why I say hands here if you want to, or here if you want to, just to help that bit of support. Okay, pause. Can I have a little bit more of this, please? And take the elbow back a little bit more. And can you see, as I get into the swing of this, I've got a slight shift in my gaze as well, as my body turns. Take a pit stop. In fact, let's take a hip walk back into a full back rest just for a moment, all the way back. Now, while we're in this full back rest, we can do a little bit more ankle. Slide 1 foot forward and just extend it so it's just off the floor. I'll do this foot because I think you can see it better through the camera. Just off the floor, have a glance down, and now can we try to really get the ankle moving backwards and forwards. As the toes come towards you, you'll start to feel some stretch on the back of the leg. Just 3 or 4 of these would be good. And can you bring your toes in as well? Give your toes a squeeze as well. Same on the other leg, slide forward. This one is in full back rest, as you can see, but I am still active, honest. Okay, good, take a pause. And hopefully you can see and feel that this is how our ankles move in standing and walking. So it directly relates to all of the standing activities that hopefully we're going to build too. Okay, let's come up away from the back of the chair again and start the hip walk forward. I just want to take some mobility movements. If you've been with us in the other movement snacks, these will be familiar. If it's your first time, have a look, pick it up when you see it. Here's the shoulder rolls. Looking ahead, lift back and down. I'm just going to turn slightly sideways so you can see what's happening with this movement. I'm going up, back and down. If that feels like too much for you, to begin with, we can take a lift and a controlled lower. And it may be that you start on this one first, start to build up the movement in this shoulder shrug, and then we can build into the shoulder roll. And again, my hands are on my thighs, they can come with me, lift and open the chest. Okay, let's just take some head turns, slowly to the side, back to the centre, and repeat. And we just pause in the middle each time. Just go to a point that's comfortable for you. These mobility movements keep moving. They keep moving. Take a pause. If you need to pit stop, you can. If you're happy to stay up there, do so. And when I say taller, we're lifting out of the hips. So we're getting longer in the middle bit. If that feels tiring and you feel that you just can't stay up there, of course, that's okay. You just have a pit stop and come back in when you can. Head on the neck movements now. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. If you've been with us on the other movement snacks, you'll be familiar with this. Here we go. It's our neck movements here. Pressing the head back. And this is mobilising the neck. All those 3 movements combined are the neck and the shoulders and this top half of the body that are required for all of our activities requiring arms, head, gaze to see where we're going. Moving down to the trunk then, on this lifted position, we're going to start with our side bends. And again, the arms of the chair can help us with that. So this time, keep your buttocks firmly on the chair, and I'm just going to take a bend over to the side, into the elbow here, come back up, and then change to the other side. So it's just a little squeeze over. If you don't need those hands there, we can have them here. You choose. And if you would like, you can add a sideways reach on that. So a little functional reach. This is what these mobility movements serve to do. It's to link into daily life. So in general, if I'm going to bend or turn, it's probably going to be because I need my arms to get something, grab or reach. A couple of these, 1, 3 or 5. Let's just do one more on that. Just take a lift and then take a sideways bend, or hand on or reach. Pause in the middle each time. You might want to pit stop in the middle, come up and then go to the other direction. Turning now, trunk turning. So again, lifted up position, high on the sit bones. Give your buttocks a squeeze while you're there. Crowbarred in an extra one there. And now this is a turn, and it's as if you're turning to look over your shoulder. The whole of the top half of the body comes round. Head goes with me. Pause in the middle. If you want to, you can walk the hands round also. Here, the important thing is that the pause is in the centre. It moves round and then it comes back. And then take a pause. Okay, I want to move on to, we've done some ankles in our circuit, so I want to show you, if I have time, 3 strength activities today. So having covered our mobility, in general, generally speaking, when we talk about strength activities, we're really looking at the hips, the wrist and the spine. These are the 3 key areas that we really want to try to strengthen. And this is why meaningful, purposeful movements in chairs are critical. So yes, there's lots of other social benefits for joining in seated movement classes or seated exercise classes. But for purposeful gain, we need to crowbar in some strength activities. And I want to show you just 3 today that you might want to start trying. And over time, perhaps you could build and seek other information to progress these. The first one is going to require your tea towel. Can we take this? And we're going to do start to introduce you to some strength activities for your hips. So for this one, place that there on your knees, and then we need to hip walk forward into that position that we had. So your legs can move more freely. And on your tea towel, can you fold it like so? So it's still quite wide. Okay. Now this isn't the ideal object. It's not the optimum object to help with this. Just to introduce you to some strength type activities. So feet are flat on the floor, and there's just a little gap between your knees here. And we're just going to place that across the knees, hands on, and sit tall. So the hands on the tea towel help to almost restrict the legs, because now what we're going to do, just make sure there's a bit of a saggy bit in the middle there. Keep the feet flat, and we're going to press out into the tea towel and then release. So my hands and the tea towel serve to offer just a little bit of resistance, and I'm pressing out into the hands and into that tea towel. But at the same time, I'm lifting taller, and I'm also pressing my feet into the floor. So I have a press and a release and a switch off. Okay, in position again, heels to stay down, feet stay flat. Keep squeezing through your buttocks. So can you feel your sit bones on your buttocks that you sat on? So we want to be really high on those, lifted up, press and release. And there's just this moment, just a couple of seconds of pressing into this tea towel there. We're resisting that movement, and you'll start to feel that your arms also are working. So it's press and release. Take a breath, keep your normal breathing through all of that. So that's starting to get a little bit of resistance through the outer thighs. With this cushion now, if you're able to, give it a bend over. So we're in this position. If not, it's okay like this. So now we're just going to take it a squeeze this way and then release. take hold of it to stop it drop into the floor. So sitting tall, we give the cushion a squeeze. Now, at the same time that you give that cushion a squeeze, can you see I'm also squeezing my buttocks? So I've got a big squeeze everywhere. And if I squeeze my buttocks, can you see I grow an inch up? What we're doing here is we're contracting the muscles around the hips, around the buttocks. And that lift is because we've contracted the muscle. That's where that lift is coming from. So it's a squeeze and a release. Keep hold of this, otherwise you're going to lose it. Just try 3 or 4 of these. This moment of resistance and release, and keep breathing on this. Give yourself a little bit of that. Up tall. Hands on the arms of the chairs. Just extend the leg, just to release the hips. And the other one. Very good. So that's a little bit of hip focus. Over time, you can build up those resistant movements, kind of resisting that movement. Just try that. Build it up once or twice the first time. 4, 5, 6, 7 is okay. And we rest after each one. Here's the next one. So I said that hips, wrists and spine are a big focal point. This one is targeting the spine, the upper back, and also the wrist. And for the tea towel for this one, make it a little bit narrower, so it's almost tube-like, like so. Again, it's not the optimum object to use, but it's something I think everyone will have around the home. So it's a good start. It's a good start. Okay, this is the movement. So can you just rehearse this movement with me? Palms up if you can. Okay, and just keep them the same width here, and then just bring the elbows back as if you're holding a tray. I'm going to just turn sideways so you can see. And can you see that my elbows are staying close to my body here? But my hands are staying at the same height. So just rehearse some of those. Just release and squeeze back. And at the back here, just squeezing the elbows back. If I add this now, I'm just going to change. It's going to feel slightly different. So scoop up that tea towel. Give yourself lots of width. It's about shoulder width here. And keep this tea towel about belly button height. Give it a squeeze, and then just as if you're gonna, can you see I've gone from a saggy tea towel to a tight tea towel. Just a little bit of pull apart, just a little bit, and then we do that movement we've just done. Squeeze into your belly button, return back, release, and have a pit stop if you need. Lots of stuff going on here, and we're just starting to introduce you to a strength activity. Up tall, a little bit of pull on this tea towel, comes into the tummy, return, and release. Hopefully you can feel this one is promoting this open chest position, and can you feel your shoulder blades at the back squeezing together? All this object does is just offer a little bit of resistance that's going to encourage muscles to get stronger over time. One more. So again, in these days, just one, 3, building up to 5 of these. Make sure after each one you completely release and relax. So we call that our upper back strength activity, strength movement. One more I'm going to show you, I think. One more. And this is why I think I need to do another session, because there's lots of things we can do. I don't want to bombard you. It is a movement smack. Toe raises or jockey lifts. If I flip a coin now, what do you want? Toe raises or jockey lifts? It's jockey lifts. Okay, let's have a go. So as I've already mentioned, over time, if achievable, if possible, all of these chair-based movements hopefully serve to feed into a stronger standing, more balanced posture in a standing position. We want to reduce sitting time. We want to stand where we can, if that's achievable, of course. So we're going to hip walk back a little bit, just come all the way back into full back rest. And we're going to prepare for a little bit more lower limb stuff, a little bit more strength on our jockey lifts. Here's your switch off. Have a little extension, have a little release before this final set. Here we go. Sit up away from the back of the chair. Hip wall forward. This is going to make it easier to stand and easier for this next activity. And the heels come back and down. Hands on thighs. Give your thighs here a squeeze, and you'll feel if you start to squeeze your your buttock muscles. And when you do this, have a go at squeezing your pelvic floor as well. So pelvic floor and glutes, give everything a squeeze. And now we're going to take our little shift off the chair. So as if you're going to lift your buttocks off the chair, but you don't. Pressing through the floor, and we've got this slightly forward shift. So if I turn sideways, the trunk goes forwards and up. So we have this strong posture position driving into that. Now if you want to, hands on thighs, and we can go there and there. So now we're pushing down from the arms of the chair and up from the feet, and you'll feel this whole body contraction almost, all the muscles working to start to prepare shift out of the chair. That's the jockey lift. How do you feel? If you feel you want to take a breath, we've done quite a lot of movement there. That's a sample of what movement snack might look like in seated. Taken a little bit longer today because I wanted to explain. Just before we go, then let's just have a little bit of a release, a little bit of arms and shoulders, and you may want to take your hands behind into your chest stretch here, or just squeeze back here and release. And also you may want to lengthen one leg, sit tall. Just lengthen the leg and sit tall, and you'll feel some stretch on the back of the thigh. Step in, lengthen the leg and sit tall, and just lengthen the muscle on the back of the thigh. Okay, how was that? Movement snack. It was a movement snack, and the aim in these movement snacks is to crowbar these movements throughout your day. So a little bit of circ boost every hour. Lift out of the chair. Get out of that chair-shaped position frequently and regularly throughout the day. Rehearse as if you're going to stand regularly and frequently throughout the day. All movement minutes in the bag. Let me know how that movement snack went for you. I showed you 3 strength activities today. I've got a couple of more stashed away in my head if you want them. So we may well set up a second example movement snack in seated. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you all. We need to see your comments on this so we know how that went for you. I'll be back at 12 o'clock very soon for our usual movement snack with some seated and some standing alternatives. But I quite understand if you've quite had enough of the sight of me today. I've had enough of the sight of me today. All right, thank you very much. Send us some comments. Bye for now.